when he entered his plea, he didn't know the time he was facing, or he would have just pled not guilty. Because who would plead guilty if they knew the minimum mandatory was life in prison without parole? Nobody would ever do that, knowing they were going to spend the rest of their life in jail. You at least give it a chance and go plead not guilty and let a jury decide, you know? Tim is my brother, and he's 11 months older than me. He's in federal prison, and he's been there for over 21 years. I can't remember. He's there for selling LSD. His sentence is double life without possibility of parole. We're from Connecticut, and we grew up there. Our real father left when I was 2, Timmy was 3, and then we had different stepfathers. We had a good childhood when we were younger, really young, and then it wasn't the greatest. He was an A student in school. I think occasionally he got B's. He wasn't like popular. He was a little bit of a loner. He was a good kid. He got the best grades, better than I did. He was about 17 or 18 because I had an apartment, and he stayed with me for a couple days. All the deadheads were on the lawn of the mayor's mansion or somewhere, and they were just camping out there. And there was a show in town at the Hartford Civic Center, and he went there, and somebody gave him a free dose of LSD. They were just handing out doses, I guess, and he took one, and he had a wonderful experience. He went in the show, the Grateful Dead show, and he found his home. They would play 3 days in a row, skip a day or two, and then the band would like fly, and then all their following would hitchhike and take their vehicles and drive, and then they would see the next shows, and then they would just keep doing that nonstop for months and months and months. He sold soda, beer. Then he got into selling fried dough, which made quite a bit of money. That was real popular, and there was no negatives to that because it was feeding people, and even the police would come by and buy some, you know. LSD was very easy to get at the shows. Everybody had LSD, and everybody was doing LSD, kind of like what they say Molly is right now at these festivals, you know, like Burning Man, where you know it's there and everybody has it, and there's cops there, but they're not really busting everybody. And it used to cost about like 45 cents or something a hit. And friends would say, "Oh, you're going to the Dead shows, get me some acid." It was really small amounts. But this friend wanted 20 hits, and this friend wanted 20 hits, and this one wanted 20 hits. A lot of friends who weren't at the shows wanted LSD, and you couldn't get it unless you went to the shows. He didn't progress like into a dealer like he was branching out and trying to gain ground and get bigger territory. It was, you know, specific groups of friends. That's what he lived for, was just living on the road, going to the Grateful Dead shows. And he was the kind of deadhead that was a true deadhead that would dance in the shows like they do, and every single lyric he knew. His friend was arrested for marijuana, and he was facing like 2 years or whatever in jail. And Timmy, I guess, had been selling to him before, and so he turned into a confidential informant for the DEA, and so the DEA worked with him, and he wore a wire, and they requested large quantities of LSD from my brother, and Timmy didn't really deal in that large quantity, like thousands of hits of acid, but he could get it, and so he did get it. And then the informant said that it was lost in the mail, so Timmy sent the LSD again, and so he got double the quantity of a charge. I know he was really worried about this particular package, and I know he didn't deal with that quantity before, and he was doing a favor for a friend. He had a public defender, and the public defender was terrible and didn't even know that the amount of time Timmy faced. If he did a plea deal or something, he would get like 5 years, but the most he would get would be 17 years. And then come to find out, he was getting minimum mandatory life without the possibility of parole. So that was kind of just a shock, really. And I talked to his attorney on sentencing day, and I said, fix this. I said, you sold him down the river, you know. Take back his plea, do something, you know, because he was newly out of law school. And I said, my brother's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. You didn't do your job. And so he tried to take back his plea, but that was it. And I was just crying. I walked down the hall and down the stairs, and the prosecutor was high-fiving his other attorneys. And I was devastated at that time, and I was in shock that somebody who was a nonviolent person, who didn't hurt people, who was real peaceful and honest, he's just an awesome person, could get life without possibility of parole. I thought my brother could never get that amount of time, because murderers get 20 years, because that's considered life on like a state charge. You get paroled after 20 years or whatever. That's why I never thought my brother would actually get that sentence. And you could rob a bank and get 10 years, you know, with a gun. You know, you could kidnap someone and get, I don't know, 10, 12 years. I watch these crime shows and I see the sentence that they get. You know, they could dismember a person and kidnap and do all kinds of evil things and still get out of prison someday. They do have a release date, so I do get a little upset because they do get out someday, and my brother will never get out, and he's not a threat to society. I would like to see him free. I would love that. I would like to see him free one day. The chances are slim. I don't know, probably like a 15% chance that maybe I'll see him on the outside.